Can't trust these hoes, no, 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 no. I must stay focused on these big bank rolls. I can't trust these hoes, no, 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 no. I cannot trust these leeches. I cannot trust these streets. I cannot trust these bitches. I gotta trust on me. I cannot tell my business. Stretching out racks, no fitness. Yeah, I swear we go. We need to go down and get this. I put the gang on my shoulders and carry on. I put the strap on my shoulder and bring it home. Haters be low-key fans and singing my songs. I swear to God, if I see them in person, I'm doing them wrong. I gotta stay focused, they pull out that camera, take pics. Every time I'm closing my eyes, I'm seeing me running from pigs. She don't speak or don't talk, she shy, she needed something to get lit. You coming and fuck up the vibe, we scratching your name out the list. Yeah, yeah, I got my soul in this. Yeah, 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 then I told them this. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, gotta stay focused. Yeah, 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 we don't focus. I must stay focused on these big bank rolls. I can't trust these hoes. No, 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 no. I must stay focused on these big bank rolls. I can't trust these hoes. No, 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 no.
Yeah, make it too big, it can't fit in the driveway. I've been fucking hard since Big Worm been on Friday. I've been tripping hard on these hoes since MySpace. Taking the top out of beans, baby. Taking the top out of beans. If I pull up with your rent, baby, you gotta swallow my kids. If I'm a dog, I'm a pit, baby. Having fantasy love with a rich lady. I put it on my lips. She mad, I told my friends. I stop hanging with your nigga, just fuck on you. Every day, baby, on your daddy. And I wanna caress you, just fuck on you, bitch. I'm trying to add you to my life. Rose gold beans, rose gold rims and ties. Rose gold shady chain gang. All's brother is bro, that is up in Petersburg. Slaw, make your pussy slurp.
Today, we're going to talk about the NFL and college football weekend, winners for tonight, and of course, the BTL squad ride. This is Behind the Lines.
But Rodgers is a fucking fossil. This team's in shambles. The Steelers are a wagon at home. It's going to be a gross fucking game. And I'm going right back to fading the Jets.
And once again, the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, when the lights are bright, do not show up and they fold. Their receivers are banged up. The ones out there couldn't catch shit. Their defense is taking a step back. This 49ers team is a fucking joke, and I'm looking at you, Kyle Shanahan. You're supposed to be that guy.
In the postseason for the first time in his career, and they find a way to fucking blow it. Look, we should have known the Yankees bullpen was going to come back and bite them in the ass at some point. They've been a little bit too good, but my goodness, did we think it was going to be Big Christmas?
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Monday, episode 603 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by SeatGeek. Shout out SeatGeek for the tickets this weekend for the Army-Navy game. My goodness, what a game. What an atmosphere. Jovan, it was something that most people, until you go to an Army-Navy game, you don't realize how much those people fucking care. That place, probably the most filled up I've seen FedEx Field in my entire life. As much as I hate to say that out loud, it's a fact. I don't know if we'll ever see that place is packed, but my goodness, both squads, Army and Navy, showed up, showed out, but only one team showed up. And it was beautiful to watch Navy spank Army's asses on FedEx Field, or at FedEx Field, at the Met.
That was
right.
That was your dream scenario.
Beautiful.
Out of anything not Commanders, it's probably the best case scenario for anything you could have seen at FedEx Field.
Yeah, those don't grow on trees, folks. They don't. Hey, maybe the tides are turning, right? Maybe the tides are changing at the Fed. Great to hang out with Goots and get a big-time win there for Navy outright. Keep the points, don't need them, although we took them as bozos. But we cash, and then the over squad ride as well. But we'll get to that in a moment here. Honestly, we can hop into it right now. Let's recap the squad rides, and we'll get right into it. Two W's. Two dubs this weekend. Jovan, great call on that over. Was never in doubt on Friday night. Whew.
For sure in doubt. For about three quarters. But shout out the Blazers for getting it together in the second half.
Sure. Hey, CP3 got ejected early on, and it looked like cake, but
that was crazy. That killed the game almost immediately, which was wild. It was also Moose because he was about to have 75 assists.
Yep.
We got the
100%. 100%. 2 overs. How about an over in the Army-Navy game? Those also don't grow on trees. I think it's the second one in the last 19 years it's cashed. And that one was easy. Okay, so I hope you guys tailed responsibly on both of those. Hope you cashed. And like chat's saying, yes, Jovan, very fitting. Rocking the Brian Thomas jersey right now and with it in the background. I think he deserves a little round of applause.
Yeah.
Him.
It's the GOAT.
Him.
It's the GOAT right there.
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
Legacies for the bow, legacies for your fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. 100%. I started him over Terry in one of my leagues. Looked like an idiot early on and ended up being a great play. Had more points.
Yeah.
What a
somehow,
day, Brian
some
Thomas.
way.
Yeah. Great weekend of the NFL. We'll talk about it here in a sec. We got a couple people coming in subbing, Jovan. Got to give some respects. Hype train is moving and grooving. We got Ian228 coming in, resubbing for 27 months. Seasoned vet. We got Ryan Kinney coming in, resubbing as well. And Auto Gelato coming in, resubbing. We appreciate you guys. And if you missed TMA this morning, W Mike, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTube. Shout out Chelly for killing it with the COD content this weekend. Let's see if he's got some more streams today. I think he does, actually. So stay posted. If you're trying to get involved, cash some COD lineups and prize picks and watch some streams. I think Chelly might be firing one of those up today. Hype train moving to groove in chats and a bunch of follows as well. We're also live on YouTube at Bookit Sports. We dropped an anytime touchdown score video on Friday, I believe, for yesterday's NFL action. And Jovan, I mean, you cleaned up shop. 4 for 5 out of your 5 plays there for ATTS scores on Sunday. Great fucking work, dude. Cleaned up shop.
Should have sprinkled some 2+ for these two guys, I guess. They had legacy games. That was beautiful.
Beautiful. Great work there. Let's go ahead and move on to the Sharp Report recap. See how we did on Friday. Army blew it. Unbelievable. That moneyline parlay piece, though, that we took into Sunday cash. Shout out the Eagles and shout out Nebraska. Yep. Not really Worcester or Donovan Mitchell, though. They did not come through. The Wizards actually almost won that game.
Yeah.
Rare.
Wizards showed up.
They did. They can't make it up. Jovan, not a loss in sight on Friday. Great fucking work.
Yeah.
Great fucking work.
We'll absolutely say it. Chris Paul was about to be green as ma if he didn't get ejected. I think he had like 4 in like the first, 8 minutes of the first quarter. Then he gets tossed. Pissed me off.
Can't make it up.
I had a sneak ladder placed.
Can't make it up. Unbelievable. Never seen someone get ejected and not care as much as CP3 did. He didn't even chirp. He just walked right to the locker room. He said, my work here is done. Unbelievable. Let's check out the Hail Mary. Not our best work again. God, more L's than dubs. Unbelievable. The Browns fake sharp. The Panthers fake sharp. 2 of the fake sharp plays of the day on Sunday. And Arizona melting before we can even get there. So
it's dead on arrival anyway.
Man, got to go back to the drawing boards with the Hail Marys, man. We hit a couple of these last year. We got to find our stride as we get to the home stretch of the NFL and college football season here. We're smacking one of these puppies before the year ends. I can feel it. Okay, so stick with us. We're going to run this puppy back and get a 5 guys going for this upcoming weekend. Okay? Saturday meat sheet. We'll take a peep at that as well. Pretty 50-50. Both QBs cashed on prize picks in the Army-Navy game. I mean, Bryson Daly, he forgot how to throw, but he still cashed his passing yards, had a bunch of picks. Blake Horvath, I think, turned into Bryson Daly in that game and took his powers. He absolutely tweaked. Straight bets. Memphis early. That was a cash. Santa Clara was a great play. Illinois lost by 2. Unbelievable.
Legit.
Couldn't cover
Legit
that.
every other play.
God. Georgia, I think, didn't cover by 1 or 2. Gonzaga blew it late. Shit. Towson just got destroyed. That was just a shit bet. And yeah, Dead Larry Bird, yes, it was always UConn. It was always UConn in that spot. Fading UConn at MSG just never works. Never, ever works. Favorites, dogs, doesn't matter. All right. Weekend preview. We got one more thing to recap, and then we'll get into some action for today. Pretty solid weekend preview. No complaints, no notes. Chuba Hubbard did not come through along with the Panthers, but besides that, we take this and we move and we growth. Right? Yeah. Not too bad.
Winners on both sides.
Bo Nix seeing ghosts, but still getting a big-time win.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe could have got a chance at the end there, and except AR fucking gave them points without him having to get on the field. W for the over, though. It's not complaining.
Sure. And yes, Pip, thank you for holding me accountable there. New hook. I think that square lasted about 10 minutes before he ended up getting a hit. So that was a generationally terrible square. Terrible. Hook.
New hook.
Hook on new hook. Can't make it up.
New fucking hook.
You best believe I'll be taking new hook again. I see him back up on the board. You best believe it. I'm running that shit back. You let me know when new hook is back on the ice. Okay. What do you know? We got Primer coming in, dropping a 10-unit sub whale right now. Are you kidding me, Prime?
W Prime.
Prime is Bezos. Yes, that's the best way to put it, as Chelly's saying. Prime is up racks. My goodness, bro.
Need Prime to drop some of those units on his 2K player, man.
Okay, yes, maybe buy some VC. Okay, good.
Get him right.
10 subbies, Prime. Hey, congrats on the great day yesterday. Great weekend, Prime. The year of the square continues, and you're capitalizing on it. And look, at least somebody's cashing, and you're cashing fucking big, Prime. So keep it up, my man. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it and be as responsible as you can. We got Fade God coming in, dropping a resub as well for 19 months. He's saying 19 months of meat on a Saturday morning. Okay. Sure, Fade God. W subby. We appreciate you, my man. Let's keep moving and grooving. Yeah, Bucks Boy in chat. I saw that tweet, bro. That's disgusting. Feel bad for all the people that had Commanders in a teaser, Commanders spreads. Literally, the NFL trying to rig that game, stopping the clock, a ghost clock stoppage for 4 seconds that allowed the Saints to score. I've never seen something like that in my life. I don't know, but luckily we won, so I don't have to bitch about it too much. We can move. All right. A couple follows coming in. Lou Dort, that could be the real Lou Dort coming in following. Cosbit, we got Baba coming in. Yance coming in, dropping a follow on Twitch. We appreciate you guys. We are live on YouTube as well at Bookit Sports. Make sure you're subscribed over there. Okay, so you can get some cool videos that are posted not on Twitch. All right. Jovan, why don't we take a peep at the fantasy football matchup that we got going? We got cooking this weekend and next weekend. It is a 2-week playoff. Okay, I'll go and remind you people that. It is a 2-week playoff. And Jovan, your team showed up and showed out. CMC, 2 tutties. No CMC, no problem. You're up big. Well, not big, but you're up.
Yeah, Josh Allen and Devontae Smith showed up. That's really, I mean, my team is so outmatched that, like, that's what I'm relying on. That's just what I need to get me through. So,
well,
I mean, got it.
I mean, when Josh Allen drops a 50-burger game, you got a chance.
Yeah. He's having a ridiculous last couple weeks. I mean, hopefully he keeps that up. You got the Patriots, I think, next week. So he's got a shot to do it again. Because my team is rat piss, but we're finding ways.
Yep. Finding ways. We'll see how this ends up. We both got a guy going tonight. You've got DJ Moore. I've got Jay Jettis going tonight. So, look, hopefully I can, shorten that gap and maybe get that closer to a tie as we head into week 2 of the semis. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what's going to happen next week too, right? The Cardinals play the Panthers. So now it's going to finally bite you in the ass when Trey McBride scores 2 tutties.
Okay. I swear to God, I bet him every fucking week the last month and a half to score a tutty. Wouldn't it be something if he gets a couple, a handful of touchdowns?
Need you to not bet him this week.
I feel like I probably have to at this point to give me a chance to win this league. Okay. Yeah, shout out Chandler Morris to UVA, Rav. Hilarious. That should help, right?
Horrendous.
That should help. That's a very UVA move. All right.
He's literally Calandria.
Yeah, I mean, what does that change? Right? All right, let's go and hop into some winners for today because I do want to spend some time, hopefully towards the end, and craft up a little NFL prize picks lineup. I'm sure we got some squares for the sharp reports that involve that game as well. And there should be, another Pickmas prize picks lineup promo on the PrizePicks app that gives you a little boost as well. If you guys want to tail one of those, we're still looking for our first win, but we're going to get one in December. So don't miss out. Tail responsibly. You should see one of those lineups up there again with boosted odds up on the PrizePicks app in a couple hours. Okay. Jovan, let's hop in. Let's talk about our winners for today. Get it started out with a CBB play. Nasty CBB play. How about Wofford? This is a team that's, look, the spot, it's interesting. Let me talk about it. They're playing Charleston on the road. This is kind of a rivalry game here. Both teams from South Carolina. I think they play, or at least they have recently every season before conference play. Wofford's coming in off a bad loss They got absolutely destroyed to an Elon team that's really no good. They were plus 2.5 in that game on the roads. They lost by like 25. Well, they've had like more than a week to figure out what the fuck is going on with that team over there, the Terriers, and prep for this game against Charleston. They're in-state rival, right? We know Charleston, obviously a better basketball program right now. Sure, they lost their coach, who I've been obsessed with and talking about for years, to Louisville, and some of the best players following him to Louisville. But Charleston so far this season, Jovan, they picked up right where they left off, right? They're still looking pretty solid. They're sitting at 7-2, and they've ripped off 3 wins in their last 4 games, including an outright win at St. Joe's. When they're plus 7.5, they won outright. It's really hard to win there. So the fact that they're coming off that game, I think Charleston could be a little fat, happy, and complacent. They're also off a couple days as well of rest, but Wofford's had more time to prep. They're coming in pissed off. Charleston's sitting back, fat, happy, and complacent, welcoming in a Wofford team that, in their opinion, they don't have to worry about. They've taken care of in recent years. So I'm going to back Wofford here in this spot. Again, one of those spots where I care more about the opening line than where it's at right now. A 5.5 opener for Wofford in this spot against Charleston, coming off that outright win, and Wofford getting spanked in their last game. Come on. Give me a break. I'll back Wofford in a bounce back spot with more prep time in a rivalry game on the roads that opened up a very short spread. Give me the Terriers. Give me the points. We might need them.
Just might. It's a gross play, Krabs. That seems like a vintage Krabs play. I'm so in.
A couple guys on Wofford to look out for tonight: Corey Tripp and Dylan Bailey, 2 veteran senior guards. This is a very veteran Wofford team. A lot of kids have come in and transferred and either played there last year or this is their first year, but they pretty much only run veterans. Charleston, the majority of that talent left to go to Louisville with coach. They have a very young team this year, and they really have not played anybody. Their strength of schedule is weak as heck, but them coming off that big-time win outright on the road at St. Joe's, this is a must-fade spot. Back in this veteran Wofford team, coming off of getting embarrassed, this one simply means more for the Terriers. I'll meet you guys at the cash counter when they lose by 3. Okay?
Sure. Means more. I'm in.
Yep. And then I'm going with the Bears. I was teetering between the Bears and the Vikings team total under. I like both those plays, but going with the Bears here on the spreads. I know they already covered when they played the Vikings this season. I don't care. I think they might win this game outright, to be completely honest with you. 2 teams moving in opposite directions. You get the Vikings at 11-2. Who the heck expected that? If anything, people would have expected Caleb Williams and this stacked team. You plug in a star rookie QB, they're the team that's 11-2 going on a run. If you look back to what people were talking about in the offseason. Now the Bears have lost a bunch of games in a row. The Vikings have won a bunch of games in a row. And although these teams played a really close game only a couple weeks ago, I'm taking the Bears again to cover. I think they pushed in that last game. It closed to +3. They lost by 3, but I think there's a chance they might go in there and win this game outright potentially. Another fat, happy, complacent spot for the Vikings. And Caleb Williams, I mean, something here has to give. And I think he's going to air it out. Sure, that might result in an interception tonight for the first time in a while, but let Caleb cook. Let him torch this Vikings secondary that, in my opinion, is extremely overrated. Their D-line is actually good. Flores is a great coach. He's proved that this season, but that secondary is beatable. Feed guys like DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, feed Rome, the rookie, let Caleb cook. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, for some reason, we haven't seen this Bears defense stand on business in like a month. We know they have it in them, man. They got to show up and show out. And maybe in a rivalry game on primetime TV is when we finally see some effort on one side of the ball from the Bears. I think they keep it within a tutty. Wouldn't be surprised if they went outright. I think the Bears defense shows up and Caleb takes over this game himself. And sure, he might make a mistake. He might throw a pick, but he's going to take over, put up a big number, and he's going to feed DJ Moore and co. And they're going to keep this game extremely close.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'll join you on that and add to your sell job because the Bears are also on my side. I like the Bears. I'm right there with you. I think there's a shot they win this game. But the biggest thing for me that I've noticed with this Bears offense and with Caleb Williams, I guess specifically, they've really figured something out against the blitz, which is why like guys like DJ Moore and like even Keenan Allen and the dump downs to the running backs, which we'll talk about too in a little bit. It's why those have been more effective. Like when you look at some of his better games over the past couple weeks, like sure, you look at the divisional games and you can say they were weird, whatever. Like he didn't look great in the first half against the Lions, but figured it out in the second half. But like he was overall, I would say solid against the Lions. He was really good against the Vikings in the first game. Then he laid an egg against the 49ers. You know the differences between all those teams, Krabs? The Vikings blitz at the highest rate in the league. The Lions are not far behind them at the 4th highest rate in the league. When you're a team like the 49ers, who blitz at the 3rd lowest rate in the league, and play a lot of zone now, that's where Caleb really, really struggles, which is why he was god awful in that game. So yeah, like you're going to get probably some mixed up looks, I guess, because it's the second time you're facing a division opponent, but ain't shit changing about Brian Flores sending the house. He's Todd Bowles like with an actual defensive game plan. So it's going to be seeing a lot of it. DJ Moore is going to be very involved. Keenan Allen's going to be involved. Swift is going to be involved in the passing game. This game, I think, is going to be very close. So I'm right there with you.
You lean under or over?
It's hard to say over after a divisional game first time that sees, I think, what was it, 57 points? It's like
20 points. Yep.
Probably lean the under, but I don't think it's going to be like a Rams 49ers game at all, where it's super, super low scoring.
All right. I lean the under as well. Like I said, almost took that Vikings team total under, but I think the Bears is the right play here. Let's take the tutty, go about our day, and trust in Caleb, trusting that defense to show up, and hopefully the Bears' strengths, and maybe they can figure out something, against that blitz. Maybe that doesn't bug them as much as people think tonight. Let's hope. We're going to need it to. All right. Curdy Flirty saying the Bears have given up. I don't know if they've given up yet. It definitely looks like that of late, but you get a rivalry game on national TV. This is when some of those guys who might not have been putting in all the effort in recent weeks, they turn on they flip the switch, right? They get going really here.
Does not look like they've given up. They had a bad week last week, but they played 3 straight one possession games against, the teams in their division that are much better than them. So I don't know where you get that sentiment, but I would disagree.
Still think they're trying to grow and see what they got with Caleb and build some confidence heading into the second half of the season here. I'm with you. What do you like about that over in the NBA?
Yeah, so this is like I don't know, maybe it looks like an obvious over on paper because it's 2 teams with really bad defenses, but the Bulls like to go fast. The Raptors, go fast when the matchup presents itself, but neither of them have any big man presence, which is pretty important, partially because like the Raptors are super shorthanded and like Pirtle's the big now, but like we know what the Bulls do with Vooch. The teams like to get out in transition. They have slashers on the court, really on both sides, that love to get to the rim. I don't see this being a spot of too much resistance, especially when like both of these teams, as fast as they play it, as much as you see points in their games, as of late, like they haven't been nearly printing overs as much as you would think. Like the Bulls have played a couple straight super low scoring games in a row, one with the Hornets, one with the Bulls, where both of those, I guess, barely scratched 200 points. And the Raptors kind of similar footing, not as low scoring, but games that have gone under. They played a hard, tough one against the Heat on the road, and the Knicks, same deal, like 2 much more defensive teams than you're going to get with the Bulls. So I feel like this is where just both teams, especially with the Bulls specifically, this is not their last game before like a super long stretch, but like after this, they go to play a doubleheader against the Celtics where they split a home and home. Then you go and play the Bucks. Not that they're like a super tough defense, but this is like their last one for a week or so where they're playing like a super bad defense where they can really get out and run and just do whatever the fuck they want. So like this feels like the spot where they're going to do that. High total, obviously. And even though it's not surprising for it to be this high with it moving up after the last couple games these teams have played, feels pretty indicative of what we're going to get. So taking points.
Yep. Both teams coming in off of back-to-back unders in their last couple games. And the last couple times these 2 teams have played, 4 of the last 5 have gone under. And all those totals have been nowhere near where the total is tonight. That total's on the move. Like you said, highest total in the NBA today. Weird looking total, insanely high. And we know how these 2 teams play. They don't play a lick of defense. Lean into that. I'm with you on this over. Reminds me of that Trailblazers over. Let's hope it goes a little more smoothly, but we'll take the same result.
Yeah, there's a lot less room for error with 15 extra points, but a lot worse defenses too. So that'll be the difference.
You want to go over while you're fading TCU since we're here?
Yeah, I guess. It's buying bad or buying good news, I guess, in the sense of South Alabama for a little bit. Frankie Collins out for the year. TCU's, point guard, which does everything as far as facilitating the offense. The offense is not really good as it stands, but he's gone now. They don't really have a true point guard. It's probably going to be Vashawn Allett. So like everybody else on the court, not named Frankie Collins, and Ernest Uday, who's the center and really kind of the only reliable scoring method for the offense. There's really nobody to facilitate and get him the ball now. In South Alabama, would you be surprised if I told you that the highest defensive efficiency at the rim in all of college basketball happened to be the South Alabama defense?
I would, and I'd say it's probably a little skewed by their opponents, but that's
It
still a
is.
great fucking sign.
It
Still a great
is.
sign. They still are good at that, obviously. So sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, this game, if I'm looking at it, we have a very inexperienced point guard in Alette who's going to be handling a lot of the ball. And maybe they'll kind of distribute, I don't know, bringing up the ball. Trezarian White's probably going to have the ball in his hands sometimes too. Maybe Wenzel, maybe Noah Reynolds. They'll spread it around, but it's probably going to be a majority Alette. Inexperienced point guards trying to feed Uday, trying to feed against a really good defense at the rim. What's going to happen with that? They're going to make TCU shoot a ton of threes, which is what they've done every year or every game to a lot of these teams, even better teams like Ole Miss. They held them to 64 points. A lot of that came from three. They shot, I think, 13 of 38 from three in that game. So, like, they really made them shoot from three, and that's a much better offense both at the rim and at three than TCU. So, I'd be surprised because the last team TCU faced like this was Texas State, who almost beat them outright at home, and that was with Frankie Collins as part of the fold, and they got out in transition a lot in that game. You can't really get out in transition without Frankie Collins as your point guard. So, like, I'm worried about what the offense is going to look like today. If I'm TCU, and maybe it makes a lot of sense, I get that, but I'm a little concerned that they might drop this game and look really bad doing it.
I always forget they got Wenzel on that team too. You got a couple Wyoming boys.
Yeah. So, like, when teams have forced them to shoot threes, which, I mean, we'll talk about that in PP squares in a second. There's really only one guy that's doing it. So, like, that's what scares me. Like, if he has a great game, he's literally Michael Porter. If he has a great game and they give him the green light, they literally have designated green light games for him. They can pull away, and I think he'll do that to some degree, but I can't trust the whole offense in that situation.
Okay. Rare fading bad news. We'll see how it plays out without the point guards, right? For TCU without Frankie. But you know what? You're talking about the matchup and you think that they can hang. And you know what? Fading our moose shit schools right now on the hardwood is probably just a great move 7.5 times out of 10 minimum, trying to be conservative. So the way our schools are looking, although don't let the Hokies get hot. Go ahead and catch the Hokies mention. 2 wins in a row. Our teams have seen better days on the hardwood, that's for sure. Okay. South Alabama, grabbing some points. Might need them. Okay. Let's swing it back around. I think I got one more play for you guys. Yep, a money line parlay. Surely this goes well since we cashed one last week, but I still believe in the Falcons at least pulling out the win in this game. I'm sure it'll be sketchy as heck. I'm sure Kirk will throw another pick. There's not even a Kirk pick square on PrizePicks. That probably tells you everything you need to know. Maybe Kirk tries to do a little bit too much in this game, but seeing the Falcons up to 6, I know it's a Desmond Ridder revenge game. Oh, I'm so scared. Well, maybe he covers, or maybe this game finds a way to sneak under in a primetime game, but I'm pretty confident we see the Falcons sneak this one out. Kirk Cousins, look, your legacy's on the line, my man. You've had, I think, 3 or 4 straight games where you haven't thrown a touchdown pass. It's actually absurd at this point. So, and we'll circle back to Kirk Cousins in a moment, guys. Don't you worry. You know we will. But coming off of 4 straight losses as well, I know the Raiders are right there with them. They're fucking terrible. They've lost 1 billion games in a row. They don't even have a quarterback tonight. But I'm going to lean and trust my gut here with a team who's also struggling in the Falcons. It still has at least a fighting pulse to make the postseason. At least they have Kirk Cousins, who clearly needs to still prove to the rest of the league that he's still him, and he has not been all season. He's been banged up. He's been shitty. I think the Falcons put up a relatively big number on offense here, and there's a chance their defense actually shows up for the first time in like 3 months as well. Remember this Falcons defense we were talking about in the beginning of the season that we thought was supposed to be solids, and they showed some glimpses? We haven't heard a peep out of this Falcons defense besides people roasting it for a month and a half. Maybe a matchup against the Raiders as square as it sounds with a backup QB last-second Desmond Ridder, a guy who they should know relatively well. Maybe that's just what the doctor ordered, even if that means going on the road. And it's not like Atlanta's taking care of business at home really that much this season anyway. So maybe they got to get out of Atlanta, head on the road to Vegas, and get a big-time win here. With that spread moving up, I'm only getting more confident. They get a big-time win on the ML. And I'm going to pair that with a late-night college basketball play, Jovan. Stick with me on this one because nobody's going to want to take this, which is probably a good sign. New Mexico State, late night. The last college basketball game of the night, I believe. And they opened up, -5.5, I believe, against Southern Utah, a team that's beaten them in recent years. A solid mid-major. I wouldn't say they're anything to write home about. They're not a Grand Canyon from last year, but this is always a solid basketball program up there in Southern Utah. where they're coming off 2 losses in their last 3 games. So they're obviously beatable right now, but they're still sitting at 8-3. Their strength of schedule, they haven't played anybody. So they're trending downwards. New Mexico State, this team's just bad. I mean, Jovan, besides that one crazy win against New Mexico, which kind of tells me at least, it's in there. This team has a little bit of talent. They got a little bit of something. It just doesn't come out very often. Besides that, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games and haven't even covered a game besides that. And they've lost 3 of those games as favorites, Jovan. So the odds makers still respecting New Mexico State against a team they've lost to the last 2 times they played in the last 2 years. Southern Utah upset them in both those fucking games. Crazy. I think New Mexico State, coming off of an absolute drumming on the road against Texas in their last game, they've had about 4 days of rest to think about that one and maybe hit the reset button. Another home. Southern Utah hasn't played a game in over a week. They got spanked by Arizona in their last contest. If they hung around against that game against Arizona, I think maybe they're just a team of destiny and they have a chance to pull this upset off once again for a 3rd straight year in a row against New Mexico State. But this line tells me everything I need to know. Nobody wants to still back New Mexico State. They stink. They're terrible. One of the worst power teams in college basketball. But Jovan, they're still laying 5, and that spread's starting to move towards them as well. I think they get a scrappy win here at home. I don't know how they do it. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be stressful. We're going to be ripping our hair out. But looking at that line, they get a big-time win late night in CBB against Southern Utah. They finally get their revenge after 2 straight L's to them, and I'm going to pair them on the ML with the Falcons.
I'm down with that. The Falcons scare me, of course, because my Monday night doubleheader feelings, the side that nobody bets on is usually the side that covers, but maybe you can get a win and no cover. Maybe that's how it plays out. I wouldn't be mad at it.
Would not be shocked. Total's coming down as well in that game. I still think it's in Mexico State. We'll see how it turns out. And yes, let's hope the Bears come through early, win that game outright, and use up all the magic for the dogs on Monday Night Football. Okay?
Could be huge.
Yep. You got any other straight bets for the Papes? Are you done?
No, I think I closed out with South Alabama.
Good. Let's go to the PrizePicks Squares. Got a couple NFL guys are here. You knew these were coming up.
The most Krabs 2-piece I've ever seen.
Yep. Has to be done. Has to be done. Brian, happy to talk about some NBA as well here in a little bit. Kirk Cousins under an interception is plus 105. Just now I'm taking that under while everyone's on the minus 125 over because he's not throwing a pick. Money Talk Sports is saying in chats. Look, it's sharp. But at this point, I think Kirk Cousins, whether he plays well or not tonight, he's probably still throwing a pick. That shit's just baked in. Pick machine. And the fact they don't have that square up on PrizePicks is kind of weird. We'll see.
Yeah, they did.
They did have it up. Now it's gone.
Yeah. We were talking about it. Talking about it with Trent a couple days ago. Got taken off.
And shout out Justin Herbert for finally throwing a pick as well this weekend, too.
Yeah.
That was like an unbelievable run from Justin Herbert.
$3.
Goodness. Yeah, and the Bucks of all teams, hilarious. Guys, Caleb Williams is throwing a pick tonight. Like I talked about earlier, I like the Bears. I think they keep this game close. They might even win this game outright. But I think Caleb Williams tries to take over this game himself, and that could result in a pick as well when he tries to do too much. We've seen it at USC where he takes over games. He's doing everything. He's got 3-4 touchdown passes. He's winning them the game, but he's also got a shit throw in there too, down the field, trying to stretch it a little bit that results in an interception. Look, I talked about the Vikings secondary. I think they're extremely beatable, to be honest with you. Their D-line's solid. I know they blitz a ton, but I do think the Vikings defense, their secondary, will get an interception in this game, although we do love the Bears. Seeing Caleb Williams, who, by the way, has set the record for longest streak for a rookie QB of not throwing a pick. He's also going for the longest streak for a rookie QB in Bears history for that longest streak, or I think that might just be longest streak in Bears history to go, games without a pick, which is absurd, not even involving the rookie aspect. Caleb Williams has been taking care of the football besides a couple fumbles, at least in the air he has, Jovan, but minus 125 for him to throw a pick, and it's been months. God, it's been almost the whole season since he's thrown a pick. And against this secondary, this kind of gives me Justin Herbert vibes against the Bucs, and I think Caleb Williams, he might throw a pick for the first time in a minute tonight. I'm trusting the odds, trusting the nasty Reddit square. And then Kirk Cousins. I mean, Jovan, I'm legally obligated to take this square once again. It is what it is. I didn't hear no bell. I like his fantasy score. I like his touchdown passes, minus 115 both ways in the books. Again, I do think the Vikings pull this one out. The dog I like in this fight tonight is the Bears. And I think the Falcons find a way to win this game. Kirk Cousins, man, at some point, you got to put up a solid game. Have people believe. It's been ugly out there. Bijan can't do it all on his own. Kirk Cousins, step up against this fucking terrible defense. You couldn't hand select a better matchup. Get it done. You don't got to worry about the opponent scoring. Desmond Ritter's not going to move the rock at all. It's going to be the Kirk Cousins show. And sure, you can probably add a pick to it as well. That's baked in. That's why it worries me about taking his fantasy score. Instead, I'll take the Reddit out Kirk Cousins passing touchdown square. Hasn't thrown a touchdown in a month. Well, he's thrown 2 tonight.
Sure.
See how it goes.
Yeah. Ritter's moose. So
what do you got?
Gets ball in some favorable territories.
I'm hoping.
I'll start with the Bear Square. Going DeAndre Swift receiving yards. Like I said, Caleb Williams has figured out something against the blitz. This offense has figured out something against the blitz, and especially after that first meeting, not just that first meeting, I guess, but I think people have started to realize that DeAndre Swift's Linsanity run against all of these horrendous teams and horrendous run defenses is over because he's been getting stuffed by much better run defenses the last couple weeks, including when he faced the Vikings in that game. And even through overtime, he only went 13 for 30. He was an even bigger part of the receiving game. He had more receiving yards than rushing yards. They're going to have to be creative with how they use him, I think, in the receiving game today early. And I think a lot of that's just going to come from Caleb kind of being more dialed into his pre-snap reads against the blitz, like I was saying. So I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball all that much in this game. I think that's going to be, honestly, to their benefit when they come in with a plan, and the offense is going to be a lot smoother. Caleb's been much better against the blitz, finding his guys like Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. But now I think in this game, a Vikings defense that kind of invites you to take everything underneath before you take your big shot down the field against that secondary. I think it's DeAndre Swift to open it up a little early. So I'm taking his receiving yards. And then for TCU, I had to take something. There's a couple squares, I guess, up there. A lot of it's going to look red because there's no Frankie Collins. This is not one of them, but South Alabama is going to make them shoot threes all game. If Brandon Wenzel, he's one of the only guys that I guess you would consider a volume 3-point shooter for TCU, because everybody else, like Noah Reynolds, Trezarian White, all the other guys are shooting maximum like 2 or 3 threes a game. He's the only guy that like is a spot up Michael Pork type shooter. And if they're going to have any sort of chance to put up points today, especially in half court, he's going to be chucking. And if you've watched Wenzel a little bit at Wyoming, but like I've especially noticed it at TCU, he is like legitimately Michael Porter. Like he, whenever he has the green light, and like I said, like I didn't just say that they have green light games just because that's what I've seen. They've come out and said, like Dixon has said, there are certain games where they go out there and like, Wenzel, we want you to be aggressive. We want you to shoot when you catch the ball. Literally, the possession ends here, Michael Porter. This has to be one of those games. Like I don't think it's going to be for the good of their offense, but they shut down everything at the rim. You have no 3-point shooters. You're probably going to have another guy in there, whether it's Vashawn Alette playing point guard, whether it's Trezarian White bringing the ball up, that's going to be feeding him the ball. They're probably going to set off balls for him and try to play 5 out. I don't know how they're going to get points other than at the 3-point line. And if they're doing it with anybody other than Wenzel, they're going to lose the game. So it's a question of if he makes them, because he can definitely shoot tour dates, but I will take my chances.
Okay. Brendan Wenzel. Get it done. Wyoming Legends.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's shooting the rock. He's got to hit his first shot. If he does, that's going to be monumental. Monumental, dude. Hit that first fucking shot. Please get some confidence going. And without Frankie Collins, someone else has to step up on this team. And if this game's as close as you're thinking, and people are going to say, oh, you're taking a TCU square and you're on the other side. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean these go against each other, right? If South Alabama is putting up some points and covering this game, TCU has to probably try to score a little bit more than they expected if they're just trying to, run the clock out and win the game.
Well, again, relating to that Ole Miss game, the Ole Miss beat them 64-54. So super low scoring game, and Ole Miss still shot 13 for 38 from 3. So like that's the model. They've done that to a lot of teams, not just them. So like they really shut down a lot of shit at the rim, and they say, beat us from 3. And if I'm South Alabama facing a team that cannot shoot and doesn't have a point guard to facilitate any offense, you're damn right, I'm going to pack the paint. So yeah, they don't really go against each other as much as it would seem.
Okay. All right. We got Alec coming in, dropping some bits. Michael Lynn Evans, the GOAT, Jovan, he says. Any comments on Mike Evans?
1K. He's getting it. As long as he can stay on the field. Injury is the only thing that could stop him. So praying he stays healthy through the last couple weeks.
There's going to be a fucking ESPN 30 for 30 doc about this one day. Straight up.
Literally goated. Literally
unbelievable. Bucks boys juiced up in chat. Sure. Shout out all the new follows as well. Love to see it, guys. We are also live on YouTube right now. So if you're watching on Twitch, you like what you see, you like sports, you like talking about them and shit, and you might like taking it better too. Follow us on YouTube as well. All right. A lot of new Twitch followers right now coming in. W's. Bookit Sports on YouTube. Drop a sub. It's free. Okay. Jovan, somebody in chat was asking you about DeAndre Swift receptions compared to his receiving yards. Somebody was saying, would you rather maybe take the 2.5 demons? Obviously, you'd rather take the receiving yards. That's why it's up here. But what are your thoughts on yards versus receptions for DeAndre Swift tonight?
I mean, I really don't have a preference too much. I mean, there's a normal square for receiving yards compared to the demon and gobs for the other receptions. I mean, that's what I took, but I think I'm taking it for the same reason. So feel free. I would like, I don't know, maybe a little more of the chance that he breaks one than gets all this volume, but I think it'll come in the same.
Okay. All right. ZDZ saying, I'm so hurt seeing you guys both on the Bears. See how it plays out, ZDZs. See how it plays out, my man. Not for the faint of heart. Really hoping that does not turn into being a trendy dog today. And be checking the feeds, watching like a fucking hawk. Okay. Let's move. Let's groove. Enough talking about these PrizePicks squares. And guys, we could circle back and craft up hopefully an NFL lineup or some sort of lineup towards the end. I think right now, though, our time could be best spent maybe talking through some of these games. We can talk through a couple of these matchups. Take a trip to the ice, take a trip to the hardwoods. I know not too many games in both those sports, but would not mind at least taking a peep. And maybe we go ahead and head over to the ice and see what we got cooking over there. I know the Caps are taking a trip down to Dallas. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that game. Caps plus 130-ish on the ML against the Stars, who solid program, winners of 2 of their last 3, but before that, they weren't playing their best hockey. How do you think this one plays out? My Caps versus the Stars.
Yeah, it should be a good game. The Stars have been, I mean, I guess both teams have been playing decent hockey. The Stars have slipped up a little bit lately in some, I don't know, easier games that they should win. They lost to like the AHL Predators like 2 games ago. Lost that weird game against the Kings where they're playing like 3 games in 4 days. So like maybe I can only assume, like just looking at the slate today, the easiest like plus money stab would probably be the Caps at first glance. So I wouldn't be shocked. It's just like I don't have any interest of fading the Caps or taking the ratchet Stars because Stars always fold and the lights are the brightest. So I don't really know what to do in that game. It's probably going to be a little higher scoring than some of the teams have played, or I guess most of the Stars have played at home lately because they're on the, I think, last game of this little homestand where they were good against the Flames, but really otherwise they have not been scoring goals whatsoever. So maybe this is the game. You get a little back and forth action.
Okay. So maybe fading the Caps, but you're not in the business of fading the Caps right now, so keep them off to the sides. Maybe we get
especially
some
when
points.
It involves taking the Stars.
Okay. Yep. So we'll stay off the sides. Maybe it's the over, if anything, in this one. Okay.
Probably.
Pulling up the NHL board, I want to make sure there's no weird looking squares up or categories. I'm not seeing any
There's
goals
one more.
Yet.
There's a play that I didn't make sharp report, but I'm absolutely taking the Panthers.
Okay. Plus 105.
Off of 2 pitiful performances. And shout out Dustin Wolf because he shut them out last game. But back-to-back shutouts for the Panthers. Now they go on the road. I believe this is the last game of their road stand as well, at Edmonton, who super, super hot team. I'm surprised that you didn't bring this up a lot either because they are on an absolute fucking roll right now.
How many have they won in a row?
I don't know. It's been a good chunk, but at least 5, maybe more.
Jesus.
Yeah, but they have been demolishing teams. Beat the shit out of VGK, I think yesterday or maybe 2 days ago. On Saturday, they beat the shit out of VGK, demolished the Wild, won a low-scoring game with the Lightning, which not many teams have been able to do recently, and just they're rolling right now. And they're playing a Panthers team who's coming off back-to-back shutouts. That's a mandatory bet for me. Mandatory bet.
Yeah, I can be convinced. Back-to-back shutouts, dude. And they're playing Edmonton, who's on fuego right now. And they're catching 10 cents of steam. Where would you think that line would be? If you were a odds maker and you were setting a line for the Florida-Edmonton game, what would you put that?
Probably about there.
Okay.
I think it's right.
All right. A lot of bets on Edmonton ML on Pickett here. Not surprised.
I mean, yeah. Not often do you
But-
get. I can't remember the last time the Panthers gotten shut out 2 games in a row. Obviously, they won the Cup last year, so it's not a. You probably wouldn't find that for most teams that won the Cup the year before, but they have not strung together really just like a couple really bad performances like that in a row. It's been a while since you've seen something like that. So,
Okay.
not that it has to come around, but I'm thinking it does against
Definitely
the Red Hot
leaning that way.
Oilers. Yeah.
All
a
right.
little
Florida
rematch here.
ML. Rematch of the Cup. Sign me up, dude. Sign me up. I'm in. Splits look good as well, at least for the ML. Nobody's probably betting the spread in that game anyways. All right.
No.
Anything in Avs Canucks?
Don't really know what to do in that game because I
Okay.
assume we would get Kevin Lankinen in net, but he's kind of sick, so I don't know if they're going to go back to Demko. Demko, I think, is just coming back. I think he's had 1 start under his belt, and he was not very good in it, so I don't really want to fade him, especially after taking the Avs on Saturday, and they look great, as they should have against the fucking Panthers or Preds, who were, I don't know, super weird, super shorthanded, but Avs found a way, dominated. Don't really know what I want to do. If it's Lankinen, I definitely would be more inclined to fade him off a shutout and take the Avs. But if it's not, I really don't want anything to do with this game. Kind of a wash.
Okay. Maybe a stay away spot. Looks like the Avs have beaten them the last 4 times they played. Not really surprising to hear that. Avs better team. All right. I mean, seeing the Avs up to minus 150 keeps me off the Canucks, so I'm good on that one.
Fair.
I think that's a good find on the ice, though, with Florida, man. I think that was a really good point to bring up. Nasty looking line. It might not look as nasty on the surface, right? Rematch of the Stanley Cup from last year, but Florida coming off those shutouts, man, and Edmonton rolling. Line back to almost a pick 'em. Sign me up.
Eaglery, dude.
I'll tell. All right. Any other hockey plays you guys got, chat? Let me know. I wish we had goals allowed squares up on PrizePicks, but we do not yet.
Yeah, don't yet. Might pop up, though. They've been popping up pretty late recently, so we might get them.
All right. Want to take a peep at the NBA? I know there's not a ton of action. You already touched on one game, but maybe we can scroll through, make sure we're not missing anything here.
Sure.
In chat, feel free to let us know. You guys got any questions, any plays in the chat about the NBA tonight? The slate, now is your time to drop them. Okay. Not the greatest slate, but Jovan, you've got a winner on there already on the sharp report. Chicago, Toronto over 240.5. I'm seeing that total up to 241. Good.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Hoping so. Keep
moving.
chugging for me.
Let me throw you a couple games here, and if you got thoughts, great. If not, we'll move. Philly on the road, laying 3.5 to Charlotte. I have happily, and I probably gained more sleep for it, but I've just kind of pretended like the 76ers don't exist over the last couple of weeks, and it's honestly treated me pretty well. I'm happy about it. Should I continue doing that, or are we laying them on the spread here on the road?
Probably should leave them to the side, but
Okay.
everything line wise would probably tell you to get involved because I think LaMelo Ball is making his return today. So you're getting first game with LaMelo back and first game I believe with Jared McCain out, who's pretty much been that entire fucking team.
Yep.
So everything would tell you about the Sixers, but I'm so good. If they win and come out in the sharp spot, I will tip cap.
Yeah, it'll be the first time in a while.
Yeah.
All right. Lean Sixers, but even we're not crazy enough to bet them. What about Miami, Detroit? You got any thoughts on your Heat laying 4.5 on the roads? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it is the road heat. The road heat. We love the road heat. We absolutely despise the home heat, unless we're fading them most of the time. But I would lean them probably in this game against the Pistons. There's definitely some odd PrizePicks squares up in this game, I will say. And Cade Cunningham, if he decides to play hero ball, which he always does, it's probably not going to work out very well. And they just beat them, I believe, a couple weeks ago in Miami, or maybe that was in Detroit. And then they beat them. The Heat beat them when they played in Miami. But there are some odd role players you can take for the Pistons today for sure.
Anybody sticking out to you that you were like, damn, we should probably keep that guy back pocket?
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Ooh.
Square was brought up to me, and he's got some threes on the board. That look pretty interesting.
Huh. You mean an extremely redded out threes trap? Sure.
Extremely red. And it fits the Heat defense because they're going to try as best as they can to take away Cade and just leave everything to spot up shooters, which is what they do against pretty much every defense or against every offense with their defense. So makes a lot of sense.
Huh. Okay, maybe we're back in Tim Hardaway today. Could certainly get behind that. Maybe some points in that game. We got a subby coming in hot from Rye Guy. What's up, Rye Guy? 14 months resubbing. Let's go, Rye Guy. Attaboy. Love to see it. Get to the CBB board and look at Middle Tennessee -4. Meet us at the cash counter. We will certainly take a peep at it. We will certainly take a peep. Let's wrap up the NBA here. And again, W Rye Guy. We appreciate you. Z-Boy's asking any thoughts on the over-under for the Philly game. That total's on the way up. Jovan's talking about, LaMelo making his return.
Yeah, it's kind of a wash for me.
Yeah, probably cancels out there. Okay. Rob Stone, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. All right. Krabs, look at Walker Kessler PRA. I'd be happy to. Look at that one. We'll bring that up when we get to that game too. OG Sour dropping 5 subbies. Let's go, OG Sour. Sure we can. Sure we can. Let's go, OG Sours. Who just got blessed up with a subby? GF Swim, Dak for Prez. Crazy name, but you just got blessed with a subby. Dirty DD, Star 98. Not Reese, 0. You guys just got blessed with a subby from our guy OG Sour in the chat. A goat always in here blessing up the chat. Love to see it. Beef Stoop rebounds with Toby out for a while.
Yeah, that could be here.
Christian Brown points. We'll take a peep at that when we get to the Nuggets game. Okay. Jovan, you like the over in Chicago, Toronto goods? Any thoughts on Cleveland, Brooklyn tonight?
I mean, I really wish the Wizards didn't play as well as they did against the Cavs because that line is absurd today. The Nets only being +10, +10.5 is crazy because they were just +10 against the fucking Grizzlies, who were still, I know they were healthier in that game, but they're still decently shorthanded. So seeing them only that against the Cavs, the G League Nets, getting this against the Cavs is pretty wild, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, look, I just watched the Cavs barely squeak out a win against the WizKids in their last game. Sure, they won by 10. They ended up winning by 10, but that game was close throughout. They did not look great. Maybe they're not playing their best ball and heading to the roads against Brooklyn, who's really been struggling. Like you said, Jovan, they were just +10 against Memphis, and they got blown out in that game. And they're +10, 10.5 against one of the better teams in the NBA. It's got to be the Nets.
I don't know if there's a bet that looks easier on the board than the Cavs.
It's got to be the Nets. Okay. All right. And chat's also asking, somebody in chat was saying, I want to bet an under today in the NBA. Are there no unders that we like? I think he wanted to take that Philly under, but not anymore. Maybe it's his Cleveland's Brooklyn under with that total drop in 6 points. Thought that was a little weird. That could be the under to play. And I think Jovan might have an under as well in this Denver-Sacramento game he was talking about a little bit earlier too. We could segue into that game.
Yeah, definitely lean to the under in that game. It's just I also kind of wanted to take the Kings, so it kind of cancels out because I definitely don't want to lean into the Kings defense, especially after a Jokic horrendous game where you can kind of assume that he's going to play a little better and he's probably going to be a pretty popular square or play in some form or fashion today. So I could very well see that happening, but when Jokic is the main guy, the Nuggets don't win. So maybe Kings over the under there, but I would not mind taking the Kings.
Okay. Kings starting to play some good ball right now, finally.
Yeah.
Team that people are pretty high on this season. They finally won 4 of their last 5. They just got back to 500 after a tough start to the season. Denver has not looked as sharp as, people probably expected preseason with them being a wagon in recent years, but they're coming off of 2 wins. So maybe people are thinking, it's a good spot to fade the Kings. Let's back the, Nuggets are starting to heat up. I don't know. I think the Kings might like the beam tonight. They're playing some good ball right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Sacramento at home as a favorite.
Just has to be. Has to be Mr. Pork. Also very red chart. He's been sneakily, it makes sense because super high total against the Kings of all teams. So like the odds are going to be a little more shifted towards the overs, but he's been clamped so much the last couple games that he's snuck into like super plus money at 2.5, and now he's I think even both ways, which may be a little telling, even though the matchup definitely makes sense for it to be there. But It's back to his normal square at 2.5. So
Okay.
if this isn't
You wouldn't
the
be
day,
surprised.
it's got to be.
If Michael Park himself gets going and bangs 3 threes.
Has to happen.
Okay. All right. We'll keep that back pocket. Who knows? We might circle back and craft up a lineup involving some of these guys. I like seeing that Reddit out 2.5 3-point charts. And I mean, his attempts is pretty right as well. Besides the last game, he shot 7. He's up for 6.5 attempts. The last 4 games before that, shot 5, 6, 3 in those games. So, yeah, maybe it's MPJ. OG Pork getting going. Okay.
OG Pork.
Okay. One more game. We've got Utah and the Clippers. Spread's coming down maybe a point in Utah's favor, down from 9.5 to 8.5. You think they keep this one close on the road to the Clippers? They're coming off of 3 losses. Both these teams not looking too great right now.
Yeah, definitely a game that I have absolutely no desire to bet a side or total on at all. But I mean, again, like if there's ever a game to take like James Harden assists, it's got to be this game.
Okay.
Got to be this game. The Jazz are assist funnels to point guards a lot of the times. Like this is probably the game where you get him facilitating to all the random role players on the Clippers, and they all turn into literally the greatest players of all time, whether it's Norm Powell, fucking Amir Coffey suits up, Kevin Porter Jr. I guess probably wouldn't be getting that off assists because he's like bring your own ball, Michael Porter Jr. But Chris Dunn, all those random role players, I feel like are going to get fed by Harden tonight. Obviously, Zubac down low is a big one, but we'll see how the matchup is against all of the Jazz bigs. But I'm down for Harden assists.
Okay. Harden Diamond tonight. Maybe helping the Clippers get back on track after a couple losses in a row. All right. Sure. You want to head to CBB? Make sure we touch on these games. Give the people some ammo for today. There's probably a couple games we don't need to go over that are moose, but
probably quite a few.
Not a great Monday slate, but we could start looking at some of these. Obviously, I'm on Wofford guys. I'm seeing them down to 6.5. Great sign from 7.5, like they were pre-show. I got nothing in Selah and Grambling State unless you do.
Nope.
No.
Not a thing.
What about Citadel and Central Arkansas? Central Arkansas 2-8, coming off of 4 losses, playing against the Citadel team with the winning records, laying 3.5 at home.
I don't got a thing, Krabs.
Yep. I lean Central Arc. Not going to bet it. Somebody in chat was talking about Middle Tennessee laying 4.5 to Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist has been good to us, man. I don't know if I can fade him. I'll be honest. I don't know if I can do it.
It's one of those weird popular plays today, which I don't have anything against. It's just like I don't know. I look at that game and I think everything seems way too good to be true. Because like realistically, I know Cal Baptist has been solid against some bigger programs, but they're going on the road to Middle Tennessee State, who's been really good this season and really good, I guess, at home against some better comp. I think the line should be much larger than that. And the total also. Total is low after like all these teams are putting up 75, 80 a game. And like they just had a game Middle Tennessee did against Belmont like a week ago where it was 160 points. Cal Baptist just went on the road against San Diego State and put up 75 points, and the total is only opening up at 143. I know it's gotten steamed up a couple points since then, but that makes no sense to me. None. So whether it's the total being weird or the spread being weird, they're probably like, if I wanted Middle Tennessee, I would want both of those to be much, much higher. So something's going wrong between those two.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to bet this game. It looks like Middle Tennessee is a sharp play today. That people are backing them. People like them. We'll see how it plays out. What about Grand Canyon, Louisiana Tech? Louisiana Tech opened up a brief favorite before Grand Canyon, either late last night or early this morning. They switched to the favorite, and they're catching a little bit of steam right now. They're up to 2.5 point favorites on the spreads. Not surprised, and maybe it could be money related. I mean, if you look at the money line odds here, which most people are probably betting this game instead of the spread since it's so close. Obviously, everybody betting Grand Canyon, a team of destiny from last season that went on that crazy run. They're coming off a loss. Maybe they bounce back against Louisiana Tech, a team that nobody wants to bet, a team that nobody can name a player from. But this Louisiana Tech team is a solid mid-major. They always have been. They probably always will be. And they're playing really good ball right now. They're coming off of 2 great big wins against the Raging Cajuns and Georgia Southern. where they covered big spreads with ease. They've covered a bunch of games in a row. The sharp play here is definitely Grand Canyon, but is it fake sharp? I think it is. And this is one of those spots where I care more about that opening line than I care more about where the line's at now. And seeing Louisiana Tech briefly open up as a favorite made me kind of think, wait a second, maybe the Lopes lose 2 in a row here again. Maybe Louisiana Tech stays hot and they get a big time win.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I think a lot of people are obsessing with the line flip. I don't really get how Louisiana Tech opened as a favorite in the first place. Like, that's crazy to me, especially with, I know Grand Canyon's been bad ATS, but it's because of all the line respect they get consistently because they're the team that everybody has been obsessed with for the past couple of years. So I was shocked to see them even open favorites in the first place, even though it's at home. It's like that shocked the hell out of me, and I will not be getting involved with Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think it's Louisiana Tech or nothing here. Okay.
Yeah, I will be leaving.
Money Talk Sports likes Louisiana Tech. I think I do too. Open up a favorite against Grand Canyon. I fucking bet. Most profitable team in college basketball last year. Everybody loves them. They probably lose again.
Yeah, I'll let Twitter have that one. I'll tip cap.
Okay. Any thoughts on Oral Roberts, Texas Tech, Alcorn Rice, Air Force NoCo? Any of these smaller games?
This, you know what it is, Krabs. Texas Tech just came off of really like a couple much tougher games, but like DePaul, call it what you want. They're decent, I guess you could say. They played them somewhat tough at home for a while. And then Texas Tech just played that neutral site game against Texas A&M where they did not play well at all.
No.
Sandwiched in between that and the start of conference play, you get a horrendous defense, 2 of them, that you're able to run really, really fast on. It's one of those games where they probably win by 50 and put up 1,000,000 points.
Huh. Okay. That's a big number against a team program that people respect. People like Oral Roberts. They've had some magic in years past. It's probably Texas Tech laying that fat number coming off that loss.
Yeah,
okay.
Probably is.
Okay. I like NoCo against Air Force, but I'm not going to bet it. They're catching about 3 cents of steam coming off of 3 straight losses. Air Force coming off a win against Stony Brook. Stony Brook's terrible. Before that, Air Force, I mean, they've lost a step. That team is not great. NoCo coming off of 3 straight losses, but they returned home now. Most of those games, most of those L's were on the road. I'll take them laying 9.5. I think that's a big old number. Reminds me a little bit of that Colorado line the other night where they were laying a big number at home against a trendy team. I think you fade Air Force, you back NoCo, laying 9.5. Okay?
Yeah, fine with that.
You're on South Alabama against your Frogs. Sure. Any Montana, Northern Iowa thoughts? That spreads up from 9 to 10.5. Already thought that was a big opening number with how Montana's looked this season, but these are 2 programs that get different amounts of respect from the books. Montana gets no respect ever. They've actually been kind of solid this year, although they're coming off a loss. Northern Iowa is I guess you could call them a blue blood for the mid-majors. I feel like they're always kind of solid. Sometimes they make a 20 run. They're typically a pretty solid basketball program. They're coming off of 3 straight wins. Seeing that spread moving, though, in their direction probably means they're going to roll in this game. I don't know if I want to get cute with the Grizzlies, but they're coming off a loss, and I think they're still an undervalued team in CBB so far this season. You wouldn't see me laying it with Northern Iowa, but I do think that's some respect with them on that spread, so it's probably a stay-away spot for me, but Montana looks sharp.
Yeah,
I don't like that line.
Northern Iowa, they're like one of the most efficient 3-point shooting teams in all of college basketball, too, which is a team that I don't really care to back, especially when they start playing like somewhat better defenses. And Montana is kind of that, like by the numbers at the least. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they stay in that game. I definitely don't want to be betting Northern Iowa really ever until shooting regression hits. But in this game, I could definitely see it hitting sooner than you'd hope.
Were you surprised to see UTEP lay in 15.5 points against Tarleton? I know Tarleton's been struggling this year. It's a program that's been better than they've been this season typically, and they get a little bit of line respect. UTEP gets no respect. They've actually been pretty solid this season. I'm not saying they're coming off a win in their last game, but they almost did against Louisville, and they're a pretty physical team. They've been hanging around. They've covered their last 4 games in a row, Jovan. They've won 3 of their last 4, and they almost upset Louisville. Maybe that's why they're getting some line respect in this game, right? They're hanging around with that squad, and Tarleton has been bad, and they've lost 4 of their last 5. So you can make arguments for it being a bounce back spot for Tarleton on the road, but I'd make the argument that UTEP getting some serious line respect here again. I think they probably cover and win this game big if I had to take a side.
I think I'll probably take a side, and I'll be there with you and take UTEP because
big number.
As bad as I guess you could say Tarleton is, like they've played some better teams, like on the road, and they've actually looked somewhat good doing it. Like they just went to UCF. I mean, covered a game by nearly double digits. I know they got blown out by Michigan, but again, covered that game by nearly double digits because they were just that big of underdogs in that game. So like they've been decent ATS like on the road against a lot of these better teams. So I think it's still a little surprising, even though UTEP played Louisville pretty well and almost won that game outright, even though it was shorthanded Louisville. So I do like UTEP. I think their defense kind of clamps down. It's also been over a week since Tarleton's played a game. I assume they had finals in there, and it's only been, I don't know, they've played 2 games since the start of December, and that first game was on the 1st. So it's not like they've gotten much game action. They're going to play a pretty physical defense that's going to shut them down, just like they try to do to a lot of other teams.
I'm with you. I might get to the counter there with you with the Miners as well. Seen some bets on the spread for Tarleton there too. I know it's not a ton of bets or handle yet on Pickett for this game, but there's some bets and there's some handle on the Tarleton spreads, and that's a name that at least people are familiar with in the college basketball space. Tarleton, and they're looking at 3-8 right now. They're typically better than that. And who the heck wants to bet on UTEP? They lost all their best players in the portal this offseason, but they've actually made do pretty well, and they've got a good coach, and they're a pretty physical team. They got a couple decent guys, Corey Camper and Otis Frazier, who can put the ball in the hoop. So I think it's UTEP. I think they win this game big. We've got Walker Kessler, PRA, being thrown around in chat. I like taking that less than. C. Burnett, my local sharp on PrizePicks who likes to take the nastiest squares. It's got to be the less than PRA for Walker Kessler. Extremely green chart, one of the most popular squares in the NBA today. But I've been bitten by just fading greened out charts in the NBA and NHL before, so I don't blindly do that, but I would certainly lean the less than there with you on that 22 PRA. Okay? Richie, we're taking your Miners, brother. We like them. Laying a fat number. They take care of business tonight. And then like I talked about earlier, Jovan, New Mexico State, I'm parlaying them with the Falcons on the ML. And I'm seeing New Mexico State up to 5 again on the book, so that's a great sign as well. Keep moving. Fuck CLV. I don't want it. I want to see that line move as far as possible. Give me some confidence there, okay? And Southern Utah, again, I know not a ton of bets or action on this game on Pickett yet, but a solid amount of bets on the dog here. Not really surprised to see it. They're a better team so far this season, Jovan. They've owned them in recent history. They've beaten them the last 2 years. I think New Mexico State gets their lick back, and they show up at home tonight. All right?
Get down with that.
Sure. All right. You got anything else for us, Jovan? If not, maybe we could craft up a PrizePicks lineup.
Sure.
I'm going to put together that sharp report 4-man so we can keep those squares out. But I feel like after talking through some of these leagues, we got a couple squares up our sleeves. We might be able to craft up a diversified portfolio.
Yeah. Just might
Wouldn't
be able to.
Maybe we start with the NFL. We'll see if we could pull a square or 2 from there. And again, we could stay away from squares that we're going to put in that Bookit boosted lineup on the app. And you guys will see that on the promo tab once again today. So if you're trying to get involved and tail with the guys, please do. All right. That'll be up there and boost it as well. We can stay away from those squares and these sharp report squares, Jovan, but there's got to be others as well that we like in this game tonight, or either of them.
I don't know if that leaves us with too many Krabs.
Definitely not too many, but some. One.
We'd be taking the whole game at that point. Both games.
Good. The whole game. Well,
all of them.
Let me do some due diligence here and at least take a peep, comb through the board and see if there's anything else weird we haven't touched on. Chat, are there any NFL squares tonight that you guys are looking at that you want to talk through or get our opinions on? Let me know.
I was going to say, before you said keep the boosted lineup squares out of here, I was going to say we could put Bijan in here because we didn't talk about that. But I think that's, especially if you're leaning into the Falcons, as much as you, I don't know, maybe like Kirk, this is probably the game that gets Trent splooging for Bijan, just like yesterday with Jared Goff.
Okay.
Especially after I watched Rashad White last week run for 90 yards on 17 carries on this same defensive line that is now more shorthanded than you would like it to be.
Can I get your thoughts on Sincere McCormick? Obviously, a pretty trendy guy tonight. People are probably picking him up, starting him in their fantasy leagues if they're low on running backs, right? And he's a guy who is going to be the starter in this game tonight. I do think whatever the heck his name is, Madison is returning to the lineup tonight as his backup. But apparently, at least from the quotes from Coach, it's going to be the Sincere McCormick show. And I think they want to see what they have with this kid after a pretty good game. What are your thoughts on Sincere, Jovan?
I mean, I like Sincere McCormick. I'm a Sincere
Okay.
McCormick guy. I do like that backfield does scare the shit out of me sometimes, though, because last week I felt a little better attacking it, partially because it was the Bucks, but also because there's no Madison in the fold, so it was really him and Abdullah. And Abdullah started getting a little more work than I would have liked towards the end of the game. Maybe it was just a blowout thing. I don't really know, but I don't know. I like him. I'm not running for any of his squares, though, because you know who I think is going to mooch him? Fucking Desmond Ridder, which scares me a lot.
Assuming they don't have his squares up yet, do they?
Not anything with his feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, the Falcons' run defense is not good, but if there's a guy that I think, compared to his line, is probably going to take advantage of that more than the others, it's probably Desmond Ridder.
Huh. All right, we'll keep on the lookout for Desmond Ridder rushing yard square. That might have to be a late addition, or maybe a late night lineup. But Jovan, there is a guy that we talked about earlier before BTL that has not been brought up yet. A guy that I think when he brought up to me and Goots pre-show, Goots certainly was interested, and it involves some feet. Will Riker.
Double bagel field goals, man.
Double bagel field goals. Bears defense might not be good enough to keep him out of their side of the field, but they're probably good enough to maybe keep him out of the red zone or at least hold him out of the end zone. If they're not tonight, we're fucked with all of our bets and angles. So let's hope that's the case, right? And if that's the case, then we're probably going to see Will Riker bang a couple field goals after it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's tough to play a divisional opponent twice in a handful of weeks. And we saw that with that Rams-Niners game. I guess that was a little earlier, but I guess just second divisional matchups, period. There's chess matches, especially when you get into the red zone. So the weather obviously played a big hand in Rams-Niners, but field goal kickers were just about the only squares, minus one or two, that you could have taken in that game. I think it's going to be a little more of the same. That first game had 57 points in it. While I do think the Bears offense is going to do some of the same, and the Vikings offense can definitely keep up. It's probably going to be a little more red zone struggles. So it's the reason it's a normal square up there after a double bagel, dude.
Yeah. I'm in. As crazy as it sounds, I think we start out our lineup with this.
Yeah. I'm in.
Any other NFL Geysermans tonight that we haven't talked about? I mean, we got 2 games. Darnell Mooney hasn't been touched on really yet. I don't know what your thoughts are with him tonight in this game. He's coming off a legacy game, I know.
Yeah, he's had a massive game against the Vikes.
Maybe it'll be Drake London night.
Could be.
What about the other game? I guess we already have a Minnesota
That is
square.
a good game.
Yeah. What about... There's got to be a nasty Raider square. That's the one team we haven't really dug into too much or found.
Good
Thoughts on Brock Bowers tonight? Safety net for Desmond Ridder?
I mean, you would think and you would hope that it would be.
It's facts. Maybe it's Michael Mayer season.
Yeah, he just literally grubbed. He was grubbing against the Bucks, man.
I'm not liking any Raider squares, if I'm being completely transparent.
Yeah.
Ridder fantasy is not up yet.
That would be the perfect spot for a Ridder square.
Yeah, I know. I'm blown. I wish they had some Russian squares up for him. All right, why don't we go to the NBA and see if we can find a square over there? Okay, we got Will Riker, more than field goals. Maybe there's an NBA square that was brought up that we could take or fade. Walker Kessler, less than PRA, hilarious square. You brought up, I believe, an assist square earlier too. I don't want to let that get swept.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I have Harden assist, Tim Hardaway threes, Michael Porter threes. Couple of
Tim
them
Hardaway threes might be the answer. Although
It could
James
certainly
Harden
be the
assist
answer.
could be an answer as well. I think we got to put that Tim Hardaway angle in here. More than 1.5 3-pointers against Miami.
I'm down.
Okay. I wouldn't mind circling back to James Harden assists either, looking at that chart. Huh. Chat, you guys got any NBA squares you guys like? Sam Darnold's under fantasy score. I like that play. I like that play in the NFL, but I don't know. I've faded him so many times this year, and I cannot even count. I can count on one hand maybe the times it's worked. I don't even know if it's worked once, to be honest with you, man. It's tough fading that guy.
That is actually tough.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I guess decent point from that just disappeared from chat. Whoever just said Yabusele. I've seen
That's
him
who I
on,
was just
on
looking up.
Twitter a little bit today because obviously they're super short-handed and somebody's got to do it against the Hornets because they have no interior presence. I mean, he could be the answer.
Yabusele rebounds. Is this the guy that showed up in like
The Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics and got a fucking NBA gig because of it? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I like that, Z-Bully. I could be down to put in some Yabusele rebounds.
I just have to put it in PRA. Just cover it
Yeah,
all.
you think he's scoring too? I mean, look at that chart too.
Somebody's got to be scoring.
Total in that game's moving up. It's probably the Sixers in that game too, right? Looking at that spread after we talk through it.
Yeah.
I'm down to pivot to his PRA and give ourselves a little bit more of a chance. Okay.
Yeah.
What about hockey? Any hockey squares up right now that you like?
There's not really that much up, I would say. So, I mean, like, ideally, I'd probably only want to take something Panthers related. I mean, they have like a Sam Bennett point, but that's really about it. Don't know if there's too much up.
Could we fade the goalie on Edmonton?
Stu Skinner.
I don't have any
They don't
goalie
even
squares
have
up.
goalies up.
Okay.
They're kind of in a box in the ice out there. Not
That's
gonna lie.
okay. All right, let's get out of that box then. Let's go back to the NBA. You know, that James Harden square is awesome. I would not mind circling back to taking his more than assists. We could also head back to the NFL and try to get cute and maybe take a less than Sam Darnold angle and Mo stack it. Get that involved. This kind of correlate a little bit.
Kind of could.
Do you have the heart tonight to lock in a fade for Mr. Sam Darnold?
I might.
His fantasy score?
You could get it out of me, Krabs.
I mean, can the good guys get one fade Darnold? It's a great story this season for the guy. And if only somebody said before the season on a pod that the Vikings offense is going to still be good and they could have the trash man playing QB. It really doesn't matter in that offense with Kevin O'Connell. But at some point, Jovan, I mean, the jig's got to be up. Cut the shit. The football gods, they got to fucking strike down here and they got to put things back where they should be. And Sam Darnold is not this good. Come on. It's absurd. We're taking the Bears. I like the Vikings team total under. We like Reichert after 2 double bagels in his last couple games. Who's to say Darnold? Sure, maybe he moves the rock a hair, right? But he's not plugging that puppy in the end zone. Not tonight. Let's fade Darnold and let's make this a 2-piece from each league. Noah's Ark type. I'm in for that. I'm in.
Sure.
Sam Darnold, less than 19 fantasy score. Jesus. All right.
This might be the craziest lineup I've ever seen.
This
This
is
is
an
a
interesting lineup,
hilarious
dudes.
lineup.
Yeah.
We've crafted some crazy lineups.
Yes, we have. And then remind me the 2 NBA squares. Obviously, Yabu, more than PRA.
Tim Hardaway threes.
And then Big Tim.
THJ.
Come on, Tim. Do job.
Tom
That's a
Timmy
4-piece that, you know, not a single other person is probably locked in yet. But maybe they'll tail if they want to get involved, right? Nobody's probably really thought about doing this. But Noah's Ark,
That's
2 piece in the
just-
NFL, 1 less than, 1 more than. Sam Darnold fades, more than Will Reichard field goals, and then 2 NBA plays. Yabusele, more than PRA, and Tim Hardaway Jr. to bang 2 threes. We're not asking for the world.
That is an
We're not asking for it all.
4 squares.
We're not asking for everything. We're asking for a couple things. Who's to say we can't get him tonight? Come on.
Hilarious.
Come on. I'm in. Please let me lock it in so I don't have to get on my phone. Hey, let's go. Good vibes. It locked on my PC. Hell yeah. Chat, you guys want the link? Let me drop this puppy. Dudes, if you don't mind, I'll put in the private chat here. I could probably put it in this Twitch chat too, actually. Boom. There she blows, chat. If you want to get involved, little 4-piece. It's gross. It's not for the faint of heart, like somebody in chat was saying. They beat me to it. Doesn't mean it's not cash. I like our chances, Jovan. I
do.
I like
You
our
people
chances.
bitching in chat about taking bumps. Hilarious. It's almost like bumps
Okay.
happen because of different guys playing.
Kobe White going more than his points tonight from ball of 22. Nuts on tape. Out of respect, I at least got to give it a peep. He's put nuts on tape, Jovan. I got to at least give
Wow.
that a look.
I mean, I'd be down to like points in that game, obviously.
Kobe White. Oh, how do we miss this? Whoa. Jovan, Kobe White, man. Maybe we keep that one back pocket for when Desmond Ritter goes up, and we put that with a Desmond Ritter rushing angle, and maybe circle back with a third later today, and we can put that puppy out. Wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, Trent saying Kobe White could be at half a point regular square. He wouldn't take it.
Oh, well, we got to put in something now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll
Will be the
circle back there,
difference.
chat. We'll circle back. And Trent, I don't blame you, man. That guy does not respect coins. One bit. Never has. Probably never will.
240.5 total, though. Got to
That might change some things. Okay. Trent, cut the shit, man. What are you taking tonight in NFL Monday Night Football, dude? I got to know. What are you taking? I'm excited to hear you talk about this game. So when you get Surge started up, okay, in about 7-ish minutes. All right, chat. So stick around. Pitch Trent a winner. We got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight and 0 excuses to not have a sell job that you truly believe in. You can give a PrizePicks square. You can give straight bets. Okay.
Trent said he's on both favorites on a Monday Night Football doubleheader.
Clapping through the first game, and now I'm pissed off for the second game because I got the Falcons ML in a Bozo pack with the Eagles ML from the weekend. I'm going to pair with that New Mexico State play late night tonight on the ML. I'm not going to clap for that, but I will clap for the Bears fate and the Vikings -7. Trent, please, for the love of God, tell me the betting queen hit you up to collab with that play. Please make my day.
That
Make my day, kid.
could be generational, Krabs.
Trent, make my day, kid. Please.
You should do a Bozo Pack collab with the betting queen on both MLs.
Both faves. Honestly, you know what you probably hit him up with is both favorites paired together.
I mean, they're 1-0 together. I don't know why we'd be fading.
Dudes,
Well,
honestly, man, you're right. All that matters is the
right.
results.
They're an elite combo.
This would be
You're
the
right.
first time all year in the 3 Monday Night doubleheaders that both favorites will win if that happens, because they've lost. A dog has won all 3 times.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess not the biggest of sample. You said only 3 times we've had 2 games on one day so far.
I believe so, right? Because there was the Commanders doubleheader against the Bengals in that game. It was the Titans when they won and they beat the Dolphins and nobody wanted to bet them. And then it was the Cardinals when they were short dogs, but dogs, when it was them and the Bucks in the doubleheader. I'm pretty
How about
sure
the Commanders this weekend, man? Getting it done.
There's no
Love
way
to see
we're
it.
glazing that, Krabs.
Win's a win.
No way we're glazing that.
No, I don't feel good about it. But we move. Hey, this point of the season, man, you can't be pissed off with a win. If you are, you're probably not a Commanders fan because you don't see wins very often. So when we move, we groove.
Yeah,
they look like
wins
shit, but they got it done. And get the
Hey,
fuck out of New Orleans.
Talking
Go
the right
back
guy,
home.
dude. I've watched Mike Glennon and Jameis Winston for way too long, so I know how hard it is to win sometimes.
You get it. It's going to be absolute cinema this weekend. Eagles in DC. Absolute cinema.
We taking them or what, Krabs?
Legally obligated to, probably. Yeah. Commies
I know
plus
you're.
3.5.
I know
Commies
you're
plus
going to. I'm just saying, where's your head at with it?
Well, the spread was at 3 before the games happened yesterday, and obviously the Eagles showed out, and the Commanders got a fraudulent win. So I'm assuming that spread is probably at what, like 4 now? I'm going to look.
3.5.
4.5.
3.5.
3.5. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I hate taking plus 3.5s, but yeah, I'll be on them in that spot. It has to be done. Eagles just keep winning, and they finally won in a dominant fashion, in my opinion. They got some of their anger out. You can see the Jalen Hurts post-game presser. This is what you guys wanted, bro. So annoying. Jalen Hurts thinks the whole world revolves around him, man. Unbelievable starting out the media presser with that shit, but with the way he's been throwing the ball. But they look sharp. Coming off one of their better games of the season, Jovan. Commies coming in off a fraudulent win that they probably should have lost. Did not look great. They have not looked great in a couple weeks, really. It's got to be the Commies plus 3.5, as much as I hate that number. Okay.
Sure.
See how it goes. Hopefully we can get our lick back. And we typically, play the Eagles actually pretty well if you go back and look at recent history, even when we've been bad. So they got us already this year. I think we get our lick back. All right. Enough talking about the Mandos. Jovan, we got to get to a squad ride. We got to cook this puppy up before Surge. You ready?
Yep.
Goodsy, run that damn shit. I want to see that train. I'm just going to go ahead and get out ahead of this one, Jovan. I want to put Wofford in here really bad.
Put him in.
Really bad. I'm loving that play more and more.
Put him in.
The Terriers. I need to do a spread check because that shit's been moving around. And I'm seeing some 6.5s and some 7s in this economy.
Wow.
Yeah, 6. I'm even seeing a 6 aloof at this hour, Jovan. I mean, we got the show started. It was 7.5, chilling. We'll put the 6.5 in there. That's what the majority of the books have. Wofford plus 6.5. As long as you're getting more than 5 points, we should be okay here. Jovan, what are you in love with today, my man?
I mean, I feel like we got to put the Bears in here.
I got
the full Josh report here, man. You got the Bears. You got Bulls over. DeAndre Swift in the PrizePicks session. He's literally splooging.
The Bears. I'll bring him back down to earth, though. Caleb's throwing a pick. Can't get Josh
probably
too
is.
excited.
Probably is.
Okay,
But
bring him
hey,
back down to earth here.
Last time Bears were squad ride was the preseason. They came through with ease.
People forget.
People do forget.
Yes. Sure. I think I did better in the preseason than I have in the last month and a half of NFL.
Yeah, preseason's kind of fun sometimes. Sleeping, sneakily. Honestly.
Bigger spots. That over in the NBA. I'm not typically a guy to say, hey, let's throw an over in there. But after hearing you talk through it and after how that over treated us the other nights and seeing this be the highest total of the day and seeing it move up, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd probably rather put that in than fading the Frogs.
It's pretty soft. But yeah, I'm in.
Okay. Hey, if you love South Alabama enough and want to put meat on tape down, you could save it.
I do just unbiased like that over a little better. But South Alabama is, I would not be shocked if the ML is fitting very close.
Okay. Let's put in the Bulls Raptors over. And let's keep our teams out of this puppy. Life is better when we do that.
Yeah.
Life is better overall. 3 plays, 3 winners today. Quality over quantity.
Sure.
I'm in for that. Okay. Chat, 3 plays, 3 winners. You got 2 minutes to lock in your vote. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. 3 plays, 3 winners. We got Wofford plus 6.5. We got the Bears plus 7. We got the Bulls and Raptors. I believe it's over 241 now. But 240.5, sure. That plays as well. We'll correct it on the graphic, guys. Just lock in your votes. We'll give you the right number. 3 plays, 3 winners. All right. We got a couple college basketball play, NBA play, and an NFL play as well. Diversified portfolio. Wofford plus 6.5, Bears plus 7, and the Bulls Raptors over. I would not have thought Wofford would even get this many votes at the end of the poll.
Yeah, surprising.
Huh. They got out to a little good start there, and now they're immediately dead. Okay. All right. Well, it was a good try. Chat, 3 plays, 3 winners. Wofford and the Bears and the Bulls and Raptors over 241. Get involved. Okay. Please click the best sell job you heard today, the best play you heard today. Let's keep the squad rides moving and grooving after 2 straight wins. Let's get back to 500 for the month of December and finish off this month strong, Jovan. I know it has not been our best year of squad rides. Okay. Sure. It has not been, 60, 61%. Like it was the first couple years. we're going to get our lick back heading into the end of December here. As the new year starts up, we're going to start fresh with a new record, come out firing. But for now, we still got work to do in December, Jovan. We got to finish the month strong. And let's keep this little squad ride streak moving and grooving. 2 straight wins. Let's make it 3. Let's make it 3.
Why not
Okay?
us?
Bulls Raptors over. We got the Bears +7, and we got Wofford hanging around 2. Pretty equal vote here. Respect. The Terriers getting some love. The Bears getting some love, and that Bulls Raptors over. People are thinking that's the best play out there on the board. I don't disagree. Like all 3 of these plays a ton. Going to be on all 3 of these plays anyways. All right. Jovan, any other parting words, comments, thoughts, concerns? If not, you can gas up your guy Brian Thomas, and we can get the heck out of here. Squad rides the over on the over in the association for tonight.
Yeah, Brian Thomas, goated. I do need to find some ML sprinkles for the night because I definitely will be having something on South Alabama, unfortunately.
Okay. And I'm going to circle back with you on a potential secondary PrizePicks lineup involving Kobe White, hopefully involving Desmond Ritter rushing yards, and maybe a third square as well. Chat, stay posted on the socials. Okay, we'll drop that puppy once we craft it. Okay? Dubs. Jovan, I'll meet you at the cash counter when the over in the NBA cashes for the squad ride tonight. All right, we'll catch chat tomorrow, same time, same place. Stick around for the third stream. All right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll be.